Hello, good evening. I want to start my video off by saying, welcome to my hotel room. So currently I am on a leadership training, I guess you would say, a professional development trip at Stone Mountain to help build the new school that we will be beginning next year. So one of the things that I found really interesting about the readings is it tied in so perfectly with what me and my team have been talking about at leadership camp, I guess you would call it, today. So the first reading, or all the readings, were about writing and the writing process and what works and what students need. And one of the things that really stuck out to me was in the first article, it talked about the idea of fuzzy thinking. And fuzzy thinking basically was summarized, or the way that I would summarize it is when students are going out into the real world and they do not know how to communicate their ideas in a clear and coherent way with an employer. That was kind of the example given in the article. And that's a real concern of mine as a high school English language arts teacher, is the fact that my students struggle with sometimes how to present their information in a very clear way. They want to do it in a very roundabout way a lot of the times. But that kind of goes with what I'm doing here at my leadership conference, because the majority of my time today was spent with my team speaking on, or we were speaking about how students lack literacy skills and how that is detrimental to their content mastery. And I would say that writing is a big portion of that, because how much writing is actually being done in other content areas, just not just in English language arts. So one of the things that I really liked about the readings from this week is they kind of all encompass the idea that students need different things in order to improve on their writing. So students need direct instruction, they need examples, they need conferencing with feedback, they need crystal clear goals. All of those are aspects to help them become better writers. Feedback is something that I really concentrated on when I was reading, just because I think that it was made pretty clear in our readings this week that feedback is essential to students' growth as writers. And feedback can come in different forms. So the feedback doesn't always have to come directly from the teacher. So an example of this would be in my AP language and composition class. I allow my students to peer review their essays, and we go into that knowing that it's a safe space to look at each other's work and to help each other with the work. And I usually give them a writing prompt, and I allow them to see student examples from the past and see how those students scored on those writing examples before they look at each other's. That way they have a very clear idea of what the standard is, what the expectation is of their writing. And with that, I try to balance the more creative writing as well, because I think that is important too, especially looking at that, the Fletcher reading, that students need to have ownership and voice and choice in their writing. So in AP language and composition, we're practicing 3 different forms of essays. We're practicing a synthesis essay, a rhetorical analysis, an argumentative essay. And those students know that they're going to get a very specific topic, and that's it. There's no voice or choice in that. However, as a teacher, I feel the need to balance that out with more creative writing prompts so that my students do get to feel that enjoyment of just writing for the love of writing, because the majority of them, since they are in AP, since they have signed up to take AP and language composition classes, they do enjoy writing to some extent. So I try to put in persuasive speeches or persuasive essays, just for them to be able to share their own opinions on a topic of their choice. That's something that really gets them engaged. And right now they're currently working on poetry, or hopefully they're working on their poetry. Since I'm at this leadership conference, that's a fingers crossed for me. But I tried to also give them that opportunity to practice a little bit more creative writing, because I don't want them to leave me or leave high school with fuzzy thinking. I want them to be able to express themselves in a way that is clear, but also meaningful. So that's kind of what I got out of the readings. Again, students need feedback, students need conferencing, they strive to do better when they actually know what the expectation is. And I think that about covers it. So thank you for watching.